Pepe coin holders, I've got a video for you guys. Today I want to be talking about Pepe and where I think we could be headed here because we are seeing a massive sell-off for these altcoins. It has been pain and pain and pain, all while Bitcoin is still flirting with 100,000 United States dollars. Welcome back to the Crypto Report. I'm maxi, and today we're talking about Pepe, so hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's hop in this video. All right, guys, we are starting off with the Pepe chart on the daily time frame, making that massive wick down below the important bullish trend line just to wick right back up. But man, oh man, we are flirting with some danger, unfortunately, guys. You know, when you see this, you really want to see this daily come back above this yellow line on Pepe. Otherwise, we're going to treat this not as support, but as resistance, and we probably reject off further. And when you look at market cipher as well, you see the money flow coming out really, really red. You got the VWAP coming up. And if you were to measure this, it looks pretty significant and steep. And you know, guys, I don't want to be a mega bear. I just want to tell you guys how I see it. And in the short term, it looks like Pepe is either hitting the bottom or there's more pain to come. And it really depends on where Bitcoin dominance, and the total market cap decides to take us, which we'll get at shortly. But when you look at Pepe just in a vacuum all by itself, it does look a little bearish. But I must say, the flavor of this cycle, guys, especially in the phase 3 of the bull market, is lots and lots and lots and lots of trappy, volatile behavior. Thinking, we're coming down, we're going to break down, we're closing below resistance, or we're closing below support, now we're going to break down, we're treating it as resistance, just to bounce back up after it traps all the bears. And it goes the same way for the bulls. And we're right now, after seeing that big move up on Bitcoin, a lot of these alts are in very, very trappy situations. So I would say the best way to profit off this right now is scalping, guys. High leverage scalping. That's what I'm doing over on crypto Twitter. You can follow me at 333blackc. I say raising the leverage up. Maybe we ride this entry to 500%, or maybe we make 10%. And that's the name of the game when you're scalping here, especially when you're catching these knives. This is on SWE. SWE was my best bet because of how it's been recovering lately. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put some limit orders in. And I caught a wick after it came really low. I limited ordered in. And as it was coming up, I started raising the leverage because I said, hey, if this is the bottom, then I caught a great entry and I want to lever up to gain more gains. But if this isn't the bottom and we want to spill over more, then I will have a stop loss to take just 10% profit instead of that 500% or that 100% gain that it's at right now. If you want to take advantage of this volatility, guys, you definitely should be signing up to Blowfin in the link down below or the description box or pinned comment down below. Either of those, I have the link in both of them. You get a $5,000 sign bonus as well as 15% off all trade fees for the lifetime of your account, guys. Please leverage trade carefully, but it is a fantastic way to hedge against the downside and as well to potentially catch some absolutely massive gains if you catch the bottom, or if you want to short to the downside to hedge against your portfolio. It's not frowned upon in my opinion. I love to hedge against my portfolio by shorting, especially when I'm seeing a lot of bearish signs in the short term. Now, let's take a look at Pepe here, sitting at rank 29, down 16.32% in the past 7 days, down about 1.23% in the past 24 hours, sitting at a $4.28 billion market cap with a 1.2 billion 24-hour volume. Guys, lots of this volume. We're going to have lots of high volume just because it's on Robinhood. It's listed on these tier 1 exchanges now. And but guys, a lot of this money is flowing out because a lot of these, the whole narrative right now is about these tariffs. But one day we're worried about the tariffs. The next day the tariffs are getting kicked down the road another 30 days. I don't know. The market is in shambles right now when it comes to altcoins, but really Bitcoin is holding up relatively well. And now this may all come down to waiting for quantitative easing to come into place. It might all lay on Jerome Powell's hands before we see altcoin season. But all we know right now is that we've seen a lot of pain for alts. We're seeing a lot of liquidity grabs, and I do think that there's a good chance that the bottom is in for altcoins as long as Bitcoin stays where it's at. And we're going to take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin is trading at about $97,000, $98,000, still flirting with this bullish trend line. We do not want to see a closure below 97K on the weekly time frame. When you look at the daily, we're flirting with the line, but we're still holding. Like I said, on the daily, don't want to close below 97K. It'd be okay if we did, as long as we stay above like 94,000, which is still possible for that to happen. It would be a higher low, but we really need to make sure that does not bleed into the weekly, because if we close below 94,000 on the weekly time frame, well, guys, like, it's like a big ship that's turning, and on the higher term time frames, it takes a while for that ship to start turning when it's really, really big, but once it finally does start turning, it's really hard to turn it back and make it get back on course. So think of that when you're thinking about weekly, monthly term time frames. And that's why it's so important, in my opinion, that we withhold this trend line to the upside. Otherwise, if we do close below it, I will be saying, okay, guys, alts are probably going to get beaten up in the short term, and we're probably going to have to wait for some consolidation on Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. Maybe that means come down to 88,000 and bounce off of that. Maybe that means that we trade sideways for a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple months. But I do think that we will have very, that's the wrong way to put it. I think that we're going to have much more clarity in the next week. Usually the bottom is put in February, in the first week and a half, or 4 days into February. I think that we're going to have a clear idea of where we're headed right here in the near future here. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, of course, it's an interesting time right now, because if Bitcoin dumps, alts dump. If Bitcoin moves up, alts don't really do much right now. If Bitcoin chops sideways, alts dump. It is very unfavorable to be in alts right now, and a lot of people are saying there's not going to be an altcoin season. Guys, I have mixed feelings about that. You know, when you look at Bitcoin dominance, we made a macro cycle high. I did not think this was going to happen. I thought this was the high right here. This was a big impulse wave, a huge, massive liquidation event. So did my top call is it still true? I don't know. It was just a wick on the daily. I'll say no, because it wicked. A wick is still a new high for Bitcoin dominance. But it's a very, very interesting time, because a lot of people are weighing in on the idea that we're not going to see altcoin season until there's quantitative easing. And I can get behind that idea. You know, it makes sense. The more money that's free and floating around, the more money is going to go on to risk-on assets. And altcoins are by far the riskiest of risk-on assets, guys. And it makes sense to me. But I do think that we need to be paying very close attention to where Bitcoin's going, what the Fed is doing, and what's going to happen with altcoins. But I will say, guys, when you see those altcoins start moving, they are going to move very, very fast. The last 20% of the bull market, you see 80% of the gains, especially when it comes to altcoins, guys. That's when you see mass mania, mass euphoria, FOMO. Take profit along the way when we do see that, guys. So when you're looking at the total crypto market cap, this is important to be looking at. So for the first time in history, we have broken below the previous cycle high after clearing it of the total crypto market cap. For the first time in history, we broke down below it. Usually, based on past cycles, once you break this high, we don't break down below it, and this previous high will become the bottom of the bear market, okay, of that cycle. So correcting down below this is very strange, and that is different. You know, some people will say this time is different, this time's not different. This is different. There are some different things happening this cycle, for sure. In every cycle, there are different things that are happening. And the question is, do we see a new all-time high on the crypto market cap? Is the top in? I don't think the top is in just yet, guys. I do think that we should see Bitcoin going higher, but man, oh man, the altcoins are getting hurt pretty bad, and Pepe is included in that. Pepe is down nearly from this cycle high, which is all-time highs, to that bottom of that wick was a 72% drawdown. And now I will say, when we're talking about this time is different and this time's not different, in my Pepe video I did the other day, I was talking about, you know, in crypto bull markets, in phase 3 of the bull markets, which we are in right now as we speak, it is not uncommon to see 30% drawdowns on the way up, guys. Okay, it's not uncommon to see that. And when you see that, you can see up to 60% drawdowns on altcoins. Now, I do think 70% was a little too much. Usually you don't see the 70-80% drawdowns. Maybe on some of them you do, but on strong alts, you really don't see that. But guys, I will say that wick to the downside, it was the biggest liquidation event in cryptocurrency history, so maybe that's something to note. Maybe we shouldn't be measuring it down to a 72% drawdown. Even if that is the case, when we bounce back up, it was about a 64 to 63%. And I think that's okay. It makes everyone think that it's over before you get a bounce. I think there's a decent chance here that the bottom is in on Pepe. Now, if we start to close below this bullish trend line, this yellow trend line like this, and we reject off it, well, then I'll say, hey guys, we need to zoom out. We need to be looking at where Bitcoin's at, because if we are breaking below this, the next stop would probably be about, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 44584. I think that's possible to get to that level. That'd be creating a massive semi-Bart Simpson pattern, and that would make sense that we draw down farther. We need to be paying attention to where Bitcoin takes us. We need to be paying attention to where Jerome is taking us, and we need to be paying attention to when we're seeing more of that liquidity move into risk-on assets. Are we going to see liquidity get freed up from quantitative easing, or should we expect more quantitative tightening and for people just to be buying Bitcoin? Because right now it does seem like a Bitcoin-only bull market. Reminds me very much of 2017, because I remember in 2017 it was just, man, I should have only bought Bitcoin. Because I bought into some of the other alts that performed well, but they came down and they just didn't recover. And that is a similar feeling that I'm feeling right now when I am coming back out and looking at everything from a bird's eye view and saying, okay, this is reminding me of 2017, where Bitcoin ran and altcoins suffered. But then, guys, the end of 2017, we did see a massive move for altcoins. It was very short, but they were big moves. Those ICO booms, there was 150, 1,000 X's every day. It was absurd. And do I think that's going to happen again? No, but I think that we probably will see a true altcoin season play out at some point. Because when you look at Bitcoin dominance here, are you really going to tell me? Are you really going to tell me that this was altcoin season? Man, I find that hard to believe. I find that really hard to believe when the past altcoin seasons were this. And when you look out even further, let's look at the weekly time frame. Are you really going to tell me that this little thing right here is altcoin season? Maybe, but I just don't buy it, guys. I don't buy it. Even if liquidity is different this time around, I do expect we should see Pepe and these other altcoins have their time in the sun, make new all-time highs, because the total crypto market cap has not done that much. A $3 trillion market cap, we came all the way up to 3.74, not even breaking the previous cycle high by $1 trillion. I don't know. And the entire world is talking about buying Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin's got some more juice left up there, but time will tell. Guys, if you stuck around this far, please go follow me at 333blacksea on Instagram. If I can get to 1,000 followers in the next 48 hours, I will give one of you guys $1,000 to buy this dip. I want to be giving back to you guys in these times of these crushing altcoins, absolutely in shambles, and everyone's crying and freaking out. Times like this will make you a Bitcoin maxi. And then when the last person becomes a Bitcoin maxi, that's when we'll have altcoin season. Just keep that in the back of your mind. But go follow me, 333blacksea, Instagram and Twitter. Guys, if you like this type of content, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me also. Did I already say that? I already said that. Follow me, Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, and check out Blowfin down below. Get a $5,000 sign bonus as well as 15% off all trading fees for the lifetime account. Take advantage of this volatility while it's here. This is like the best time to be doing these in and out scalping. Just please, guys, leverage trade carefully. Set your stop losses very tight. You can be profitable. That's all I got for you guys. I'll see you next one. Bye.